Hi everyone, this is the first chapter, and in this chapter, we will learn the basic concepts of scarcity, making choices, and the trade offs that these choices involve. In this chapter, it begins with the definition of economics. The study of economics begins with the idea that people cannot have everything they need or want. Human wants are unlimited. A need is something like air, food, or shelter that is necessary for survival. A want is an item that we desire but that is not essential for survival. But the resources that satisfy those wants are limited. Therefore, we must choose among available resources. Because people cannot have everything they need or want, they must consider their options and decide which choices will fill their needs best. Therefore, people are engaged in different economic activity to satisfy their wants. An economic activity is one which is done for money. Economics, in formal sense, is defined as social science that studies the choices that individual, businesses, government, and entire society make as they cope with scarcity, the influence on those choices, and the arrangements that coordinate them. Because people act individually in groups such as business and through governments, economists study each of these groups. They are called economic agents of a society. So it is social because it involves people and their behavior. It is science because it uses as much as possible a scientific approach in its investigation of choices. Let's see the concept of scarcity in detail. Since our wants are unlimited and resources limited, forces us to pick some activities and reject others. Scarcity is a condition of having to choose among alternatives. A scarce good is one for which the choice of one alternative requires that another is given up. For example, consider a piece of land. It can be used for many purposes. We could build a house on it, or put a gas station on it, or could create a small park on it. Air is a scarce good because it has alternative uses. The more garbage we dump in the air, the less desirable and healthy it will be to breathe. So, if we decide we want to breathe cleaner air, we must limit the activities that generate pollution. Air is a scarce good because it has alternative uses. A free good is one for which the choice is one use does not require that we give up another one. One example is gravity. Holding you to the earth does not mean that your neighbor is forced to drift up into space. One person's use of gravity is not an alternative to another person's use. Scarcity is different from shortages. Scarcity is not the same as shortages. A shortage occurs when producers will not or cannot offer goods and services at the current prices. Shortages can be temporary or long run. Scarcity, in contrast, always exists because our needs and wants are always greater than our resource supply. Goods and services are scarce because they're all made from resources that are scarce. Scarcity and the fundamental economic questions. The choices are confronted as a result of scarcity raise three sets of issues. And every economy must answer the following questions. And every society faces these three problems. They are: what should be produced? Using the economy's scarce resources to produce one thing requires giving up another. Producing better education, for example, may require cutting back on other services such as healthcare. A decision to preserve a wilderness area requires giving up other use of the land. Every society must decide what it will produce with its scarce resources. The second problem that every society faces is: how should goods and services be produced? There are all sorts of choices to be made in determining how goods and services should be produced. Should a firm employ a few skilled or a lot of unskilled workers? Should it produce in its own country or should it use foreign plants? Should manufacturing firms use new or recycled raw materials to make their products? In some plants, GM hires workers to weld auto bodies, and in others, it uses robots to do the same. One farmer keeps track of his livestock feeding schedule and inventories by using paper and pencil records, while other uses a computer. It means the same job is being done in different ways. The last one is, for whom should goods and services be produced? It is a problem with the distribution. If a goods or services is produced, a decision must be made about who will get it. A decision to have one person or group receive a good or service usually means it will not be available to someone else. At given prices, a person who has a high income is able to buy more goods and services than a person who has a low income. So there is a lot of income inequality throughout the world. For example, a representation of the poorest nation on earth often complained that energy consumption per person in the US is 17 times greater than energy consumption per person in the world's 62 poorest countries. Critics argue that world's energy should be more evenly allocated. Should it? That is a for whom question. Economics is broadly divided into two parts, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of the choices that individuals and businesses make and the way these choices interact and are influenced by governments. Microeconomics studies the particular market segment of the economy, like individual households, firms, industries, etc. Some examples of microeconomics are study of cotton textile industry. Will you buy a 3D TV or a standard one? Will a cut in the income tax rate encourage people to work long hours? Are songs downloads killing CDs, etc.? Whereas microeconomics is a study of aggregate or total effects on the national economy and the global economy of the choices that individuals, businesses, and governments make. Some examples of macroeconomic questions are, is the total level of economic activity rising or falling? Is the rate of inflation increasing or decreasing? What is happening to the unemployment rate? These are questions that deal with aggregates or totals in the economy. They're problems of macroeconomics. The question about the level of economic activity, for example, refer to the total value of all goods and services produced in the economy. Inflation is a measure of the rate of change in the average price level for the entire economy. It is a macroeconomic problem. The total level of employment and employment in the economy represent the aggregate of all labor markets. Unemployment is also a topic of microeconomics. The difference between self-interest and the social interest. Self-interest are the choices that are best for the individuals who makes them. You use your time and resources in the way that you think is best. For example, you order a home delivery pizza because you are hungry and want to eat, not because you are concerned that the delivery person or the cook needs an income. Like you, all other people make choices that they think are best for them. When the pizza delivery person shows up at your home, he's not doing a favor. He's earning his income and hoping for a good tip. Whereas social interest are the choices that are best for the society as a whole are said to be in the social interest. The social interest has two dimensions, efficiency and equity. Think of efficiency being achieved by baking the biggest possible pie, and think of equity as being achieved by sharing the pie in the fairest possible way. Adam Smith, the father of economics, believed that when we pursue a self-interest, we are led by an invisible hand to promote social interest. This is a practice test of this chapter. Have solved some of the problems, so you can watch. So this is about the first chapter. Thanks for watching.